All right, let's get the show going here. Good morning, everybody. Hope everybody's doing well. Always a pleasure to be here with you all. Just posted the watch list not too long ago, and we're going to run through a few different things here. The first is that we do have a few events today. Most of them are just Fed speakers, 8 a.m., 9, 10, and 1 p.m. Aside from that, we do have some earnings reports, which I think everybody's familiar with at this point, but just to point them out. Before the market opened, we had VRT, which is a semi gapping down here quite considerably here. Aside from that, NVIDIA, the big guy of today, this one, as we all know, is important. It could drag us down tomorrow. It could drag us down and push us higher. It's going to be an important one. It could set the stage for the next couple of weeks. Aside from that, you have RIVN, so Riven, Etsy, LCID, so Lucid, BROS, Bros, and then APA. So we'll keep an eye on those. But the most important one I think that matters is Apple. Yesterday we had a few, but most notable is, as you can see up here, PA&W down about 25%, a quarter. A quarter of the stock got shaved all overnight. So that's quite considerable here. Just give you my point of view here is that if you can recover this lower here, 283 could push us higher, but with earnings and the negative guidance and it could be a dead stock until later, until the next earnings report, unless something happens here that is a little unexpected. But 25% is huge on the stock. It's a beloved stock. It's a stock that I would say is a gold status. When it comes to if you want to have exposure to cyber package software. Obviously, it's affecting crowd amongst others. Okay, crowd, for example, down 10% just because of that, because it does have earnings coming up soon too. So just like a stock within a sector could set the tone positively, it could do it negatively. And so right now we're in a negative territory unless crowd puts up some incredible numbers and changes the tone and puts it kind of at an advantage. And then it might get some inflow, some money from PA&W into this one. So we'll keep an eye on this one. I haven't looked at CS, but I'm assuming this one is down as well. 10%. Right. So, but PA&W 25%, I would say longer term, it's pretty interesting to me. It's not often you get an opportunity to buy something at 25% discount, especially, something, it's a leading stock within this group. And so, if you wanna have a starter position, I would say, getting at 25% is a whole lot better. And that 25% could be 35% in a week, right? But it's still not a bad entry in the long term, I believe. All right. All right. So I'm done with that. As far as ES, we noted the importance of NVIDIA. And so, over the last 2.5 or 2 days, we've had 2 down days. It's starting to look like a double top here, lower high, not a perfect double top. And so for now, we need to hold this 20-day moving average. And more importantly, we need to hold this key level 49.68. there are a few reasons why this is key level. But if you look to the left, you'll understand. Um, you have a few kind of this touched it, resistance, gapped up, moved lower, recovered, pushed off, low day here, tested it here, recovered it, pushed up, coming back here, support. So you have all these kind of not coincidences where buyers or sellers, depending on which way you're looking, are stepping in here, right? And so it's an important one here. And so, if this breaks today, which is also coincidentally yesterday's low day, we could get a little bit of a down move. If you haven't read my note this morning, please do, because I talk about the idea of having these different scenarios outlined in your mind, up, down, chop, and the unexpected. It's a quick note, but being able to kind of, all right, if this breaks, we might move lower. If this breaks and then recovers, we could push higher. We can get some sort of short covering. If we just stay within range, we could chop around and then we might get a little push higher end the day just ahead of earnings. We've had a couple days down, like today just have a little bit of a relief bounce here, the day of, or do we just keep selling? And I keep getting questions. What do you think about Nvidia earnings? It's a hard one because I do believe as a business, it's an incredible business. I do believe it is in the forefront of AI, similar to what Tesla was. I do still believe that within AI they could get competition, but they are the leading name at this point. Without getting into too much, what I believe and all that, I think even though the report could be positive, it's still a difficult kind of prospect to guess up or down after. It's a question more about, how much of it is priced in and how much of it is not. And then on other variables, obviously the report. It has to be a stellar report. The bar keeps going higher. So any misstep could shave quite considerable off of the stock. So that's just one thing to keep an eye and keep in mind. But the whole mental exercise, the scenario exercise I spoke of, it's important. You have to kind of play the day ahead. So when it does play out, you could make that, either quick decision or that decision that you can have a little confidence in due to. Um, so 49.68 is your pivot. Between 68 and 5,000 is your range. Above 5,000 could get a little bit of a move to this 50-12, 50-15, and then we'll see. Anything above this 15, I think, could catch a bit of a bid. All right. But as far as tech, I think it's going to be harder today. QQQ is looking, heavy, although, we had a really nice kind of kick save, there end of day, but we're trading near the lows. But use yesterday's low as you pivot and let's see what happens. I think QQQ might be harder to trade today. Or not if it decides to, catch a bid, short covering and whatnot. But an IWM is back lower here, and not a whole lot to do here. What other thoughts? Yeah, I think it might be wise to look elsewhere today. We started seeing some kind of signs of strength or relative strength in other places of the market other than, tech or some of the names that we keep an eye on. One was I'm just gonna call out JPM here. JPM and more specifically Citigroup. Here's JPM and here's Citigroup. Showed some real nice relative strength yesterday, up about 1%. So that's interesting to me. But what I want to look for today is some sort of follow through. And the way to do that for me is watching previous day highs or important pivots. And so for JPM, if we can move back above 180, I think we could, move into this high and test it, and then we'll see. So JPM 180, previous day high, 180.86. This whole range is interesting to me. And just a brief second here, looking at XLF. Um, an okay candle. It was trading higher earlier, I think, and now it's back lower. But this 40 has been tricky, so we got to watch that. In any case, another one that showed strength yesterday was HD. We talked about this yesterday. Um, and we, actually tried to scalp it yesterday, but end of the day, it kind of sold off. We took our little profit and ran. It was just a really difficult day yesterday, but all in all, okay. I mean, it's always interesting for me when they gap it down and then the buyers step in and push it into green, right? It just makes it okay. Um, this tells me that the report, however good or bad it was priced in. And so, they sold it off, initial reaction, could not find any sellers down here. There was an imbalance, and they pushed to higher, exploring higher prices, and it went green. So all in all, one to watch, one to watch. So, watch this 365. Also, this 362 could be 363 could be a good kind of front run. So I have a few alerts there, but I want to see if we can get some sort of follow through. Okay. The next one, I think, yeah, Banana's mentioning here, WMT. Currently green, and I think this one is more of a peg looking thing, so it might take a few days or weeks. So let's, I have a few alerts here. We'll keep an eye on it, but one to kind of watch. Maybe not today for me, but something to keep an eye on over the next few days. There is some strength in Chinese names, but as far as tech, Amazon is looking pretty strong. Yeah, Amazon was included in the Dow Jones, replacing Walgreens yesterday, and as such has caught a little bit of a bid here in pre-market, and yesterday as well. Um, you know, Amazon, I would need it to kind of start moving higher, but duly noted. Okay, so this one could catch a bit. We'll see. Cost, as far as retail is showing strong, and cost falls within that. I would say that uh, we talked yesterday about watching that 730, and indeed you caught a little bit of a bid into this 735.15, almost to the dime. So what I would say is keep an eye on cost. Watch that 730. Watch the volume. If you have volume coming in at 730 and it's positive, could test 735, right? The problem is a little bit like the environment we're in right now. So we talked about this a few days ago, though. Even the setup is good, even though it's a quote unquote, let's say B plus A setup. It could still fail because of the overall market environment, right? Like I would say JPM yesterday, had it been a proper market, right? A market which, didn't have Nvidia to look ahead for, or two. This one would have put in a really nice 111, probably into 183, 185, A6 plus. All right, but it just got capped. It felt like the action was capped. You could see that every pop got sold into, every dip was bought. It was choppy. I think there's a lot hanging on this today. So we'll see what happens. But cost, yeah, watch that 30 level and then 35 magnet. Um, I posted a few, I think Target earlier when I was making the video for members, this 150, it's still showing some relative strength, although like flat. This is similar to cost, right? It's showing some strength. It's, the whole buying up of HD and WMT gapping up and all that. Like there's some strength in retail. It's just a matter of like, do we get some sort of follow through? And this XRT is looking okay. I mean, it's a nice little curl, little back test, 9-day moving average. Not a perfect cup and handle, but you get the point. A little curl, digestion, and then perhaps a push higher. We'll watch that. Um, some strength and some oil and energy here, but nothing I want to watch. Meta might be like your next trade up. Um, Apple terribly weak. Netflix could be that next trade up as well when it comes to tech. Amazon as well. Microsoft is terribly weak, below 400. Some good support here. It has the low from January, end of January. I would say for break 396, could move lower to the 50 day, but 400 could push us higher, but a little bit of a harder kind of spot here. So yeah, I think, as far as the way I'm going to approach today is a little bit like yesterday. We took a few trades yesterday. There were quicker trades. There were, weren't very exciting trades. There were trades where you kind of understood the environment we're in and just kind of protected profits as much as possible. But still took a shot or two, understanding where your stop is, what levels need to hold in order for us to push higher. And if you don't see that, there's that less likelihood that it could pan out, right? So, but I would say be cautious today. You're gonna probably hear me say, be patient, be cautious, sit on hands. Let's see what happens after NVIDIA. Um, and I think, sometimes protecting capital, both the monetary side of things and your mental uh, capital is important. I think we're going through a little bit of a period where that is coming into play. Save that excitement, artillery, save that aggressiveness to when the market facilitates such an attitude. I think this market will kick your fucking ass if you go large, if you're too aggressive, if you're trying to be too smart. This market, I think, will humble you. Um, yeah, Steve, thanks. As far as the events, I mentioned the uh, the Fed speakers, but my I think my ADHD, which which is not confirmed, but I think I do have ADHD, made me skip that FOMC meeting, Fed minutes at 2 p.m. So that could perhaps cause a little bit of volatility, but I still think there will be volatility throughout the day. So it should fall within the same kind of characteristics as what we're expecting. Just something to keep an eye on, and usually nothing that affects the market too greatly, unless there's something that comes out of the notes that is way unexpected and positive or negative, right? Um, Give me 1 second here. I think yesterday we used Nvidia as our like indicator, right? This it's no surprise that this move up around, let's say, when did it start? 12:10. This started around 240, 1240. You can see how the move in Nvidia kind of preceded the move in SPX. So, due to the importance of Nvidia, use that as your indicator. Use that as your kind of guide for SPX or the market. One little thing, and I don't think, not that I think this will happen, but last earnings report, I believe they gapped P&W lower. It wasn't 25%, but it was lower, and they bought it right the fuck back up. So let's watch. Let's kind of keep an eye on that because that is a narrative that could play. Once again, just a scenario, just being open-minded to everything. But let's see. Let's see. All right. I'm gonna turn off the live